Howdy folks, this is Shane. Good news, I got the BOSS Katana software to work no problems after doing a firmware upgrade on my amp, downloading the software and running it on Windows 10, which is what I'm doing right now. I just went ahead and set up a really great tone, and I wanted to explain a little bit about the way that I think about these type of things when I set up patches, and of course show you how it sounds as well. So what I've gone and done is set up a clean tone that really speaks to me, and this is how it sounds. Sounds great, that's a great pedal platform, and I should point out too, I have the amp at gig volume. A lot of people will set up these patches at lower volumes, turn the amp up when they take it out and they might need to fiddle. I try to get these to sound great at loud volume, so if my friend Rob uses it when he gets it back, he'll be able to just use it at gig volume and it should work fine. For the lead boost, I set up a tube screamer. Yeah, I know, who would have guessed, right? And what I've tried to do, and my thought behind this, was try not to get it to be either too loud or not loud enough. So it's just a matter of going like, probably about 15% louder, which is just about enough. You don't really need much more than that. So this is how this sounds. With the tube screamer off. With it on. As you can hear, the volume jump isn't too crazy. That's extremely usable, and that's kind of how I would probably go about setting up my pedals in my chain on a regular amp. Now, in terms of the delay, all I've done is use the analog delay. I kind of like this one the best. The tape one's pretty nice as well, but for the kind of sound I like, this is with it on. You can hear it sort of trail off, but it's not too prominent. That's exactly how I like it. So it's there, that's just a really good hint of delay for when you're doing your solos. Yeah, cool. When I write these patches as well, I write them with all of the effects currently off except for the reverb. So if I turn the amp off, turn it back on, the reverb's going to be on and my effects will be ready to go, but they won't actually be engaged. It saves you having to turn them off as soon as you turn the amp on, if that makes sense. Alright, so I skipped all of me just fiddling around with the software. I now have channel 2 set up relatively the same as channel 1. Alright, so now we're going to try some different effects on this particular one. I'm going to start with the overdrive, and I used the tube screamer before. What I might do is see what else we have here. So let's go down the list here. Let's see what fat distortion sounds like. Woo, man, it's extremely loud. It's pretty big. Let's try this. Feeling that. So what I've done on channel 2 is set up the warm overdrive on this particular one, and I think this one sounds pretty good. It also sounds extremely fat. This is a great bridge pickup sort of tone. Pedal on. But we had that volume drop, so up goes the volume. Still needs more. That's it. That's the one. So that sounds great. As a second boost, that's going to sound really cool in combination with the first channel preset that I made before. So this one is essentially the same thing, but slightly more louder in terms of the overdrive and slightly more dirt as well. I like to keep things pretty simple. For me, when I play, I don't want to have 5 or 6 different amp sounds. I want to have one amp sound. And then I want to be able to put on, say, one overdrive pedal that has a certain amount of dirt, and then another one that has a little bit more. But easily enough, you can just use the foot switch to go between channel 1 and 2 and get the sounds that you like. You could also maybe replicate those other 2 channels for 3 and 4 if you so choose, if that's something that you want to do. But I have a couple of suggestions when setting up this amp. After playing around with the other 3 channels, the lead, the crunch, and the brown sound, I kind of feel like the benefit or the channel that shines on this amplifier is actually the clean channel, and then use pedals. The crunch channel is actually not so bad, but you'll have to re-EQ it to no end. My other suggestion is if you plan on taking this amp out, set it up at gig volume at your house. If you're able to, make sure that you hear it at full volume, and the changes with having the overdrive pedal on and off are just about right. You might just still have to compensate a little bit with your volume control, but you should be able to get it locked in pretty easily at that particular volume. If you've got it on 0.5 watts and you're setting it up, odds are when you turn it to 100 watts, it's gonna feel and sound very different. So set it up loud, set it up how you would use it at a gig in terms of master volume. I don't say this lightly, this amp feels extremely analog to me, the way that it feels once you set it up. One other huge plus with this amp that I see over a lot of other digital modeling amps is when you actually add an overdrive or distortion pedal, it gets so much louder. You've got heaps of headroom to play with. Some modeling amps don't have that headroom and it sounds a little bit fake and fizzy. This actually sounds legit, so it does feel very, very analog. It kind of reminds me of how my PV Bandit feels on the clean channel running my pedals. Overall, this amp feels really great to play. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it was a little bit insightful about how I would go about setting up this particular amp, or any modeling amp for that matter, for live use. I think it's really important to have it set at gig volume when you set it up. Thanks again for watching, and a huge thanks again to my friend Rob for allowing me to borrow this amp. I absolutely appreciate it. It's been great fun. I'm kind of a bit sad that it'll be leaving the house, but who knows, maybe one will turn up in the future. Thanks again for watching, folks, and I'll catch you soon. See ya.